Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Johnny Talk Sports, here to provide you with my Week 9 2016 NFL predictions. Before we get to that, my Week 8 was a pretty strong week in predicting things. Although I may have lost a couple here and there, I did have the upset pick of the Saints over the Seahawks. I also had the upset pick of the Falcons over the Packers. I also picked the Cowboys over the Eagles. And I even said the Cowboys were going to struggle the most of the game, but they would find ways to win, and they did that. So that is 3 solid picks. Hopefully I can get that momentum going and just head it in the right direction starting here with Week 9. Hopefully I can have a strong week again. Let's start off the Thursday night game, the Falcons versus the Buccaneers. Now this is one of the danger zones in picking these games. Like if you're picking straight up, this is one of the most dangerous games to pick. Because the Falcons, they're looking really strong. They have momentum over that last minute win against the Packers this past Sunday. However, the Buccaneers are a team that's been giving the Falcons trouble the last 2 to 3 years. In fact, the last 3 games have been decided by 1 possession, with the Buccaneers taking all 3 of those games. But I just think something's different. I think they're over that Week 1 fluke. I think the Falcons are going to win this game. I think they're going to win by 4 points. I think it's going to be really close. Probably not most of the game because division games are really tough. Julio Jones is expected to play, but Tevin Coleman is unlikely to play. So they're going to have to rely on Teron Ward as a backup. They might put some pressure on Devontae Freeman. I mean, the Falcons aren't historically that good on Thursday night games. But I think the Falcons are going to win this one. It's not going to be easy, but I think they'll get it done in the end. Because now that they have that win under their belt after 2 heartbreaking losses in a row, they couldn't finish. I think they're going to be back. I think we're going to see them come out and beat these Buccaneers. And for a score, I'm going to say 28-24. All right, Lions versus the Vikings. Well, the Vikings have really struggled the last 2 weeks. I mean, they were just embarrassed by the Eagles 2 weeks ago, and they're embarrassed by the Bears last night on Monday Night Football. The Lions, you don't really know what to expect out of the Lions at all this year. I mean, 1 week they show up and dominate, and the other week they just go south. So the Lions are the most unpredictable team of the year so far. I'm going to pick the Vikings to win because I just think the receiving led by Stephon Diggs is going to be the difference in the game. I just think Stephon Diggs is going to be the big X factor. So I'm going to pick the Vikings to win only by 3. I'm going to say we're going to see another low-scoring game. I'm going to say 21. I'm going to say 24-21. Eagles versus the Giants. So this is another huge game. In the last 2 weeks in the NFL, we've had a game end in a tie. And if there was a game that would end in a tie this week, I think it is most certainly this one. Both these teams are kind of... You don't know what to expect out of these teams each week either. Like any team in the NFC East. Like the Eagles, you don't know what to expect out of them. I mean, they beat the Vikings last week. They had the lead against Dallas, but blew it in the 4th quarter. The Giants, they really struggled at the early part of the year. But I think they're back on the right track, and I think the Giants are going to win this game. However, if this came in a tie, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think the Giants are going to win 31-24. I just think that Odell Beckham is catching his stride at the right time. And the Giants need him to catch his stride. Jets versus the Dolphins. Now, this is just a crapshoot kind of a game. And this is probably this is like the second most crapshoot game of the week, and the game that's some better crapshoot out of this is coming up. But I'm going to pick the Jets for this one, and kind of a low-scoring game. I mean, although the difference, what I'm interested to see is Jarvis Landry, Kenny Stills against this Jets secondary. I mean, Darrelle Revis he basically said that he's just basically been worn out, and Darrelle Revis has just been not that good this season. But I still think the Jets will win this game behind the running game of Matt Forte. So I think the Jets will win a low-scoring game again. I'm going to say 17-14. I think this game gets really defensive. Jaguars versus the Chiefs. Now, the Jaguars have really struggled this year. Many thought that they would make the playoffs the year after they drafted smartly. I mean, drafting Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack. They thought that the Jaguars were destined to go to the playoffs this year, but they have struggled this year. I mean, they just fired their offensive coordinator just a couple days ago, and they're playing the Chiefs, who are really catching their stride again. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this week over the Jaguars. Cowboys versus the Browns. Nothing really much to say. The only question is it going to be Romo or Prescott starting at quarterback? It's got to be Prescott, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the Cowboys have not had any trouble winning games. And their own one loss this season was Week 1 against the Giants by 1 point. Although maybe get Tony Romo some reps in this game. Like maybe if Dak Prescott just throws for 4 touchdowns early in the first half, you give Tony Romo some snaps. So I'm going to pick Cowboys to win this one huge. At least 14 to 17 points. Steelers versus the Ravens. I'm picking the Steelers to win another low-scoring game this week. Although Ben Roethlisberger is expected to play in this game, or that he can play in this game, but he won't start. But I think the difference for the Steelers in the game is going to be Le'Veon Bell. And the Ravens, they're really decent defensively. But I just think that Le'Veon Bell will be too much for this Ravens defense. So I'm picking the Steelers to win by 1 touchdown. Saints versus 49ers. The Saints are really coming out strong after that upset win against Seattle. And I think they're going to win again against the 49ers. The 49ers season is just basically just out the window right now. I mean, they're not winning with Kaepernick. They weren't winning with Blaine Gabbert. I mean, are they going to put in Christian Ponder by the end of the season? You know, are they just going to tank for a quarterback? Maybe tank for like Deshaun Kaiser, Deshaun Watson, or Brad Kaya, one of those 3. So I think the Saints are going to win this one by at least 10 points. Panthers versus the Rams. Now, Cam Newton last week said he was going to have a meeting with Roger Goodell, and Roger Goodell is open with this meeting. What Cam Newton is, he feels like he's not having fun in the NFL this year, probably because kind of when you're 2-5, it's not really fun, but when you're winning, it's all fun. I got nothing against Cam Newton, just nothing but respect. I mean, Cam Newton's a really good quarterback, really talented guy. I mean, he won MVP last year for a reason. Don't let that fool you. His offensive line has just been struggling ever since the Super Bowl. And this year, it's the Panthers' secondary that's adding to the list of problems. But the Panthers are going to beat the Rams for this simple reason. The Rams are not utilizing the talent that they have. The talent of Todd Gurley. I mean, just the talent of Tavon Austin, Stephen Bailey. They're not utilizing their talent. And that's the exact reason why the Panthers are going to beat the Rams. And I think with this meeting that Roger Goodell will openly have with Cam Newton, whether if it is this week, whether if it's going on today or tomorrow or Thursday, I just think it's going to really help Cam Newton out further down the road. Because last week the NFL reviewed that there was one missed call on a hit on Cam Newton that was not called. This is the second time this season, if you don't recall, that we had the same issue in Week 1 against Denver. So this is the second time this season. I mean, the NFL just needs to just really buckle down on these penalties. Like, change the rules or something. All right, Colts versus the Packers. I just think the real Aaron Rodgers needs to stand up eventually. And he kind of stood up last week against Atlanta, but it just wasn't enough. But Matt Ryan showed up at the end. So the real Aaron Rodgers is officially back. At least statistical-wise. But winning games-wise, not yet. This is just a great matchup, Andrew Luck and Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers, I'm favoring this matchup into the Packers area because Andrew Luck does not have the defensive support. In fact, I would probably go on a limb and say that this will be an offensive battle. And I like this to be 45-38. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if both quarterbacks combined for like 10 or 11 touchdown passes. But I'm picking the Packers in this game because I just think Aaron Rodgers has more support around him than Andrew Luck does. Because the Colts running game is not going anywhere right now. And their receiving is okay, but it's not the best in football. And their defense isn't that well either. I mean, they blew a huge lead against the Texans and eventually lost in overtime. Right. Titans and Chargers. Now, this is the biggest crapshoot game of the week. The Titans have looked strong in the last couple of weeks. And the Titans have some huge upset wins. I mean, they upset the They beat the Jaguars last week on Thursday night, but does that really count, though? And they beat the Lions week 2. And they have some great talent on the team. And the Chargers, well, they've been coming off some big upset wins. I'm picking the Chargers in this game. I just feel like Melvin Gordon. I think Melvin Gordon needs to be the key to this game, and I think he will step up. And I think Phillip Rivers is going to find those receivers. So I'm picking the Chargers. Only win by 3 points. It's going to be a much closer game than what we think. I'm going to say 31-28. Right, Broncos and Raiders. Now this is hands down the game of the week. These are two of the best 4 teams in the NFL. And this could be one of the games that could decide the AFC West. What's going to be interesting in this matchup is the Raiders receivers of Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree going up against this Broncos secondary, such as Talib and what's that other guy's name? Chris Harris Jr. It's going to be interesting seeing those two receivers going at it against this Broncos secondary. But I just think it's going to be the Broncos front 7 that's going to be the difference again. The Von Millers. The Von Miller's going to be a huge difference. I think Von Miller's going to get a couple sacks done Sunday night. Right, the Bills and the Seahawks in the Monday night game finally. Oh, by the way, I had the Broncos winning. I'm winning 27-20. Right, Bills and Seahawks. Now the Bills are kind of a surprise team. I mean, they went on a winning streak at some point, but the wheels kind of fell off the Bills train last week against New England. And I think it's going to continue to fall off. I like Seattle to come back and recover from the heartbreaking loss against New Orleans, the tie against Arizona. I just think the Seahawks are going to come back to form, and I think this is a great start. Monday night, the whole world's watching. I like the Seahawks to win this one by at least 14 points. All right, so if you're keeping score at home, I have the Falcons, Vikings, Giants, Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys, Steelers, Saints, Panthers, Packers, Chargers, Broncos, and Seahawks all winning this week. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow my sports Twitter account at JBTalkSports. I believe that is all I have for you today. Share this video with your friends. As always, I can just count how many subscribers I need for 500 left on my fingers. I believe at this moment it is 8 or 9. Either way, we're getting close. It would really mean a lot to be 500 subscribers in the first full year. That would just be unreal. Especially thinking I was only going to have at least 100 by now. So I'm way ahead of schedule. So have a good day, everybody. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.